Hey you. Welcome to the Think-Along. Think-Alongs, as you might remember, are not something I've worked out, so I don't have any great concepts or something today for you. I have just been thinking about things, and I wanted to take you along to develop these thoughts. And today I want to talk about cycles. The carbon cycle especially, because, well, I've grown up with the global warming issue, and I've been warned that one day there would be no air to breathe, and I never understood how that could happen. But that's not the point. The point is, I wanted to talk about the carbon cycle in specifically today, and also I would try to get on top of my speech impediment. Yeah, well, anyway, so it occurs to me that the carbon cycle is intimately tied with life forms because we are carbon-based life forms. So what we do with carbon in all its forms, be it in its purest form as real carbon, the black stuff that's left over when things have burned somehow, and or be it carbon dioxide, be it a gas, be it matter, be it carbon bound in any kind of chemical compound. It all has to do with what life is doing and what life is, how things are metabolized and burned and moved around. And yeah, as I was thinking about this topic for a long time now, it seems to me that there are actually two parts to the carbon cycle. One of them is the shallow cycle, which happens on the surface. There is carbon dioxide in the air. Plants metabolize it, put it into their matter, grow, bind the carbon in their forms. Then other creatures start to eat the plants and metabolize that and breathe out carbon dioxide, for example, or other carbon compounds. And so this is basically a cycle between gas and solid forms in some way. But the other more interesting and troubling part of the cycle is the deep carbon cycle. And the deep carbon cycle is very, very slow. So how it basically works is, how it basically naturally works before humans started to dig up large carbon reserves in the ground, is that living things collect carbon, bind it in their matter and in their form. Then they sink into the ground somehow. They get covered over, or I don't know, things burn down, or parts of it are creatures sink into the sea, and in the depth of that, more and more earthy things cover it, and under enormous pressure, this transforms into sludge or coal. well, oil or coal or gas or whatever. But then naturally, at some point, we need something like a volcano that comes up in the right place, just spills a lot of carbon dioxide into the air, and then things can start anew. So our Earth has a finite and I think probably quite constant. I don't think we lose so much carbon to space. A finite, definite, probably quite constant amount of carbon that can go around. And over the billions of years our Earth existed, it has started to cool down. So yeah, so since our Earth isn't as young anymore, it now that it's now not so probable that some volcano will crop up somewhere and spill carbon dioxide, monoxide, all the carbon gases into the air to make it available again. So actually, in the past billion years or so, the deep carbon cycle has started to slacken. At least logically, this seems to be the case, because yeah, I don't see so many volcanoes around, right? Or do you? I don't. There are some still, but in the next billion of years, they will probably keep diminishing. And so, but since this isn't the time frame we think with, we now have started to speed this cycle up drastically. So actually what we are doing is we are very quickly, over only a couple of decades, are putting carbon that used to be somewhere bound in the ground into the air. So basically what this is our atmosphere has become the common kitchen where just things are pooling in the sink. But on the other hand, we have started to kill off our nature, which would be able to bind the carbon again and start the cycle anew, at least the shallow cycle. And so now we are dealing with the problem that carbon is pooling in our atmosphere and having all kinds of freaky things and freaky consequences. So I know that this isn't a new thing for you, right? We all know that that there are projects in place and attempts in place to get on top of this somehow. But I feel that the understanding for how things work together and are interrelated isn't too prevalent out there. And that's what I've been thinking about. And I would like you to think about it too, how preserving nature, how preserving especially the oceans with its vast reserves of fish, and preserving moors and everything in nature we have been destroying in the past 100 years or so, how this is how the carbon that should be in the creatures who lived in these natural habitats is now pooling in the atmosphere when it has no way out. So as I said, it's like the common kitchen sink. Nobody's doing the dishes, the stuff just piles up, and at some point nobody can eat because the dishes are empty, need to be done. And the trouble is that we haven't gotten on top how to do our dishes, so to speak, yet. We haven't gotten on top of how our carbon cycle works. It's not, at least I feel like it, because nobody ever talked about this. Everybody only talks about we need to reduce carbon not exhibition, what's the word? Expulsion, whatever. We need to produce less carbon dioxide, and we need to protect nature, and we need to protect the oceans, and we need to protect special parts of nature, etc., etc. But nobody ever talks to me about why this is important and why this is related. And it's a kind of garbage problem as well, because a lot of things we make are carbon based. I mean, some are glass, that's silicon based, but plastics, for example, are all carbon based, and they just pool somewhere in the environment and would need a couple of million years under enormous pressure to become oil again, or coal, or whatever, or whatever weird kind of carbon based thing our garbage would make in a billion years. That's not the point. The point is, we have all this trash lying around, and we cannot cannot start to burn it and put it into the atmosphere, because we are not taking enough carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere again to keep up the healthy cycle. That's why we have all the weather changes and all the global warming stuff going on. Once we figure out how we can bind more carbon, and this is done in protecting life forms, because every fish out in the ocean, every tree, every square meter of moor somewhere is a lot of carbon that is not in the air. And yeah, I just wanted to take you along on this quite shaky thought process, and I would like to hear what you are saying, what you think about, and I would like to continue the discussion. What do these considerations spark inside you? Do I even make sense? Because I'm lying here, I'm not sure if it makes sense. I hope so, but in my head it does make sense, and I'd love to clear things up. So engage, comment, throw this to other people. Maybe they have something to say as well, and I'm so curious to hear what you think. And thank you for coming to the Think Along. So, like if you like, Subscribe if you like it, and I'd really, really love to hear from you.